Now, have you ever wondered what doors might open up for you if you learnt just one more skill? Something simple yet powerful enough to change the direction of your career. SQL, or structured query language, might sound technical or even intimidating at first. But once you understand what SQL can do and the kind of roles, projects, and industries it can unlock, you'll start to see it not as a tech skill, but as a career multiplier. So, what opportunities actually open up if you learn SQL? Well, SQL is a language used to communicate with databases. So think of a database as a giant behind-the-scenes spreadsheet that stores the information that powers websites, apps, systems, or even entire businesses. SQL is how we ask questions about that data. So if you want to know how many users signed up last month, that's an SQL query. If you want to find the most popular product sold in a specific region, that's another SQL query. Want to merge two sets of data together to understand a pattern or trend? SQL again. In a world where almost every organization runs on data, and I mean every kind of organization from tech startups to hospitals, banks to retail chains, knowing how to speak the language of data gives you access to a completely different level of insight, different level of control and value. So let's say you're working marketing. Knowing SQL means you're no longer waiting for the analytics team to pull reports. You can go straight to the source. You can ask, how many users came from our last email campaign? And get the answer yourself. That makes you faster, more informed, and frankly, a lot more effective. Or maybe you work in finance. SQL allows you to pull customer reports on sales, revenue, customer transactions, all in real time. No more static dashboards. You become the person who can spot patterns early, identify issues before they become problems, or uncover hidden opportunities that others miss. In product or UX roles, SQL helps you understand how users are actually interacting with a product. You can test hypotheses, validate assumptions, and back up your decisions with real numbers, not just gut feelings. Now, if you're already in tech, maybe you're a software engineer, a data analyst, or even an aspiring data scientist, SQL is practically mandatory. It's one of those foundational tools that comes up over and over again, regardless of which programming language or framework you're using. But here's the twist. You don't have to be in tech to benefit from SQL. In fact, more and more non-technical roles are starting to list SQL as either a nice to have or even a core requirement. For example, in operations roles, think logistics, supply chain, or even HR. People who know SQL can optimize processes, improve reporting, and contribute to data-driven decision-making. It's no longer just a back-end skill, it's become a business skill. And then there's the freelance and side hustle world. If you know SQL, you can take on freelance gigs doing reporting, database cleanup, or data visualization. Platforms like Upwork and Fiverr have tons of small businesses looking for people who can write simple queries, extract data, and hand over clean spreadsheets. SQL also pairs beautifully with other skills. If you combine SQL with Excel, you're already way ahead of the curve in data-heavy office environments. Add in a bit of Python or R, and you're moving into analyst or data science territory. Pair it with Tableau or Power BI, and now you can turn raw data into beautiful, interactive dashboards that tell stories and drive decisions. Learning SQL also changes how people perceive you. It shows that you're proactive, that you're not afraid of technical tools, and that you want to get closer to the data. That can be a huge advantage during interviews, promotions, or cross-functional projects. And let's not forget the salary boost. Many roles that require SQL tend to pay more than their non-SQL counterparts, simply because data skills are in demand and relatively rare, especially when combined with domain knowledge. Another opportunity, career pivots. If you're thinking about moving into a data analyst role, SQL is usually the first stepping stone. It's like the gateway drug into the world of data. Mastering SQL gives you the confidence and competence to explore data analytics, business intelligence, or even data engineering. Now, here's the best part. SQL is not actually that hard to learn. Unlike some programming languages, it's actually readable. You don't need a computer science degree. A typical SQL statement looks something like select name from customers where city equals London. That's it. You're asking the database, give me the names of all customers in London. It's almost English. And once you get used to the basic structure, select, from, where, group by, join, you can do a lot with just a handful of keywords, which you'll come to realize during this course. You don't need to be an expert to get value out of SQL. Even a beginner level understanding can make you stand out in a room full of people who are still stuck in spreadsheets, waiting on reports, or struggling to get the data they need. So what opportunities open up if you learn SQL? More independence at work, more influence on decisions, higher paying roles, career pivots, freelance gigs, faster answers, better strategies, and most importantly, more confidence in a world where data is king. Learning SQL doesn't just help you speak to databases, it helps you speak the language of modern business. And once you can do that, there's really no limit to where you can go. I'll see you in the next video.